Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are cracking open a really fascinating piece of ancient narrative.
We are, and we're going to be looking at it not just for its story, but, for its historical context, its structure.
Exactly. So for everyone listening, today is Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025. And our source text is from the Gospel of Matthew.
Chapter 15, verses 29 through 37.
And it's interesting, for those who follow the liturgical calendar, this reading pops up during the first week of Advent.
Right, which is a time of preparation,
Yeah.
of provision. And there's another little historical note for December 3rd. It's the memorial of St. Francis Xavier.
Oh, the famous mission.
The famous missionary, known for, tireless, expansive work, which is a theme that really echoes what we're about to see Christ doing in this passage.
That's actually a perfect frame for this, because this text is all about a kind of boundless provision, especially when faced with what looks like total scarcity. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to treat this as a primary source. We'll pull out the key details, the history, the literary choices, and even the logistical challenges Jesus and his group were facing.
Exactly. This isn't just some nice story about a meal. It's a really profound statement on community, on compassion, and especially how that plays out with marginalized people.
Okay, so let's get the foundation set. I'll read the full text now verbatim from Matthew 15, verses 29 to 37. At that time, Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, and he went up on the mountain and sat down there. And great crowds came to him, bringing with them the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and they put them at his feet, and he healed them, so that the crowd wondered when they saw the mute speaking, the crippled healthy, the lame walking, and the blind seeing. And they glorified the God of Israel. Then Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion on the crowd, because they have been with me now 3 days and have nothing to eat. And I am unwilling to send them away hungry, lest they faint on the way. And the disciples said to him, Where are we to get enough bread in such a desolate place to feed so great a crowd? And Jesus said to them, How many loaves do you have? They said, 7 and a few small fish. And directing the crowd to sit down on the ground, he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and having given thanks, he broke them, and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds. And they all ate and were satisfied. And they took up 7 baskets full of the broken pieces left over.
Okay, so that's our text. And the very first thing, the geographical detail, just jumps right out. Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee, and he went up on the mountain.
Right. That's not just background scenery.
Not at all. If you place this on a map, this area, especially the eastern side of the sea, which Matthew seems to be implying, we're likely in the Decapolis.
And for our deep dive, what does that mean? What's the significance of the Decapolis?
It means we're probably in Gentile territory. See, earlier in Matthew's gospel, Jesus often limits his ministry to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But here, he's pushing the boundaries. The people coming to him are the most marginalized, lame, blind, mute. But here's the kicker. After they're healed, the crowd glorified the God of Israel.
Ah, so that phrase suggests they weren't originally followers of the God of Israel.
Exactly. It points to a non-Jewish, or at least a very mixed audience, having this radical moment of conversion or recognition.
So it's a mission statement in action. It's this physical demonstration of inclusion. And I love that detail. They don't just ask for help. They bring their brokenness and literally set it at his feet.
Yes.
It's such a posture of complete trust. It's like they're saying, this is it. This is our reality. It's all yours.
It is. And the healing is immediate. Matthew doesn't draw it out. It's bam! A direct show of power over every human limitation. And the result isn't just awe, it's worship.
The physical healing leads directly to a public spiritual response.
That's the proper outcome of this kind of divine intervention. You move from being amazed at the miracle to adoring the source of the miracle.
And this is where the story pivots, right? From this huge supernatural event to something so mundane, hunger.
Yes. Jesus is the one who notices they've been there for 3 days.
3 days.
It's this incredible moment of compassion, but it's so practical. 3 days without food in a remote area. I mean, for people who might have traveled a long way, that's a real danger. He's worried they might actually faint on the journey home.
It's about their safety.
It's a deep practical concern.
And the disciples' reaction is just it's fascinating.
Yeah.
They've just seen miracles. The lame are walking, the mute are talking. And their first response to the hunger problem is pure logistics.
Pure logistics. They basically pull out a spreadsheet. Where are we going to get enough bread in a place like this?
It's just astonishing.
Hmm.
Because this is the second big feeding miracle in Matthew. You'd think they'd have learned from the first one.
You would. And I think that's the point. Looking at the literary structure, their immediate focus on scarcity, on the limits of this desolate place, it just shows that even seeing a miracle doesn't automatically fix our default setting.
Our default is scarcity.
We always go back to calculating what we can do, what we can produce.
Okay, and this is where we really need to dig in. Because this story, and the first one, the feeding of the 5,000, they're not just repeats. Matthew and Mark include both for a very specific reason.
Absolutely. This is the key insight. In that first miracle, the 5,000, they start with 5 loaves, and they collect 12 baskets of leftovers.
12 baskets, right?
Yeah. And the Greek word for those baskets is kophinos.
A kophinos, which was what, a smaller kind of basket?
Yeah, a small personal wicker basket, the kind a Jewish traveler might carry to keep their food kosher. It signals a very Jewish context.
I see.
Now, fast forward to our passage. The feeding of the 4,000, they start with 7 loaves and they collect 7 baskets of leftovers. But the Greek word is different. It's spirus.
Spirus. And that was a much larger basket.
Much larger, like a big hamper, sometimes big enough to fit a person. It's the same word used when Paul was lowered from the wall in a basket.
Wow. So that detail is intentional.
Oh, absolutely critical. Scholars are pretty much in agreement that Matthew includes both stories using these different words for baskets to show the scope of Jesus' mission.
So the first one, with the kophinos, the 12 baskets for the 12 tribes, that's for the Jewish world.
That's the provision for Israel. And this one, with the 7 large spiritus, 7 being a number of completeness or covenant, this is for the Gentile world.
So that reframes everything. The desolate place isn't just remote. It might feel spiritually desolate to the disciples because they're outside their comfort zone.
It could be. Their scarcity mindset might be even worse because they feel like they're providing for outsiders.
So it's not just that they're being dense, they're hitting a huge theological wall.
Yes. They're struggling to grasp that Christ's abundance isn't limited by their traditional boundaries or their human math.
So when Jesus asked that simple question, how many loaves do you have? He's asking them to offer up what little they have for this crowd, for the Gentiles.
7 loaves and a few small fish. And that brings us to the actual process of the miracle. It's a pattern we see again and again. Jesus took the small offering.
Right.
He gave thanks for it.
And then he broke it.
That sequence, took, gave thanks, broke. It's the fundamental rhythm of Christian provision. It's not about making food appear from nothing.
It's about the multiplication that happens after you offer what you have and after you're grateful for it.
It's an instruction manual for stewardship. The disciples see the 0, the lack of bread. Jesus sees the 7, the small resource they actually possess. The miracle starts with giving thanks for the little thing.
And the outcome isn't just enough. It's abundance. Superabundance. 4,000 people eat until they are satisfied.
And that word satisfied is important. It implies a much deeper fulfillment than just not being hungry anymore.
It's a sense of completion.
A profound fulfillment. And the 7 big baskets of leftovers prove it. The provision was more than enough. It created an overflow to handle future needs.
Okay, so let's bring this back to someone listening right now. What's the core? The intellectual or practical takeaway from this deep dive?
I think the core takeaway is about our human struggle with a scarcity bias.
Scarcity bias.
Yeah. You, listening, you might be facing a massive project, a huge deadline, maybe a financial problem. You're in a desolate place, metaphorically, and you might have had successes before.
Like the disciples saw the 5,000 fed.
Right. But when the new pressure hits, your first instinct is to look at your 7 loaves, your limited resources, and just decide the problem is too big.
We fall back on the logic of the desolate place instead of remembering the pattern of abundance.
That's it. And the historical context here, the Jewish feeding versus the Gentile feeding, it just hammers the point home. Christ's provision is for any community, no matter how marginalized, and it always overflows.
So this passage is really a challenge to our human instinct to set limits. We're always asking, where are we going to get enough?
And the narrative shows the real method is to first offer the small thing you do have, your limited time, your imperfect skills, whatever it is, and then press the multiplication that comes from gratitude.
You know, another thing that strikes me is the compassion. Jesus waits 3 days. It's not just instant pity. It's patient. It's enduring. It's like the crowd's persistence, staying for 3 days, is what prepared them for that moment of provision.
That's a powerful insight. That persistence, just sticking with the teacher even when you're hungry and tired, That's the prerequisite.
Right.
It suggests that in our own dry spells, our own 3 days, just staying put is what opens the door.
So for anyone listening, maybe the question is, what part of your life right now feels like that desolate place?
And what are your 7 loaves and small fish? What's the small blessing, the small resource that you have right now, but you're maybe dismissing as not enough?
Because this whole pattern, the healing, the patience, the offering, the multiplication, it proves that the limits we see are usually just based on our own math.
Exactly. Not on the nature of the power we're dealing with. The divine logic is abundance, not scarcity.
That's a perfect place to end. The logic of 7 baskets of leftovers will always defy the logic of the desolate place.
Join us again tomorrow as we open the scriptures and find out what new wisdom the world has for us in our daily walk.